solving two separate integrals. For part A, we'll be focusing on the indefinite integral of e to the power of x times sine x. Our second integral is a definite integral from 0 to 1 of x times e to the power of x. For both of these, we will be using integration by parts. A big indicator of this is the fact that we have an exponential function and a trigonometric function together. Recall our Eilate rule. We see that here we have a trigonometric function and an exponential function, and since t comes before e in our acronym, sine of x is our f of x, and e to the power of x is our g prime of x. If f of x is sine of x, then f prime of x is cos of x. Similarly, g prime of x is e to the power of x, and we know that its antiderivative is also e to the power of x. And so we substitute these values into our integration by parts formula to get sine x times e to the power of x minus the indefinite integral of cos of x times e to the power of x. We see that we have to apply integration by parts again, and similarly, to our original integral, we set f of x to be cos of x and g prime of x to be e to the power of x. And so we get sine of x times e of x minus cos of x times e to the power of x minus the integral of negative sine x times e to the power of x. This simplifies to be sine x e to the power of x minus cos x e to the power of x plus the integral of negative sine x e to the power of x. Moving the negative sign outside of the integral, this is what we get. And we notice that on our right side, we have the same integral as on the left side. And so we will move this to our left-hand side. And then dividing both sides by 2, we get 1 over 2 times sine x e x to the power of x minus cos x e to the power of x plus c, simplifying to be e to the power of x over 2 times sine x minus cos x plus c. Let us move on to part B, the definite integral from 0 to 1 of x times e of x. Again, we recall our Eilate rule, and we see that we have an algebraic and exponential parts, and so our x will be our f of x, and e to the power of x will be our g prime of x. We find f prime of x, which is 1, and g of x, which is e to the power of x, to get x times e to the power of x minus the integral of 1 times e to the x, all from 0 to 1. Before moving on, we solve our integral part, and we know that the integral of e to the power of x is simply e to the power of x, and so we get x times e to the power of x minus e to the power of x, all from 1 to 0, and substituting in our 1s and our 0s, we get e minus 0 times e to the power of 0 minus e to the power of 0, which gives us minus negative 1, simplifying to be just 1. For more information about integration by parts, please refer to our library guide on more integration methods.